Hi, and welcome to Second Amendment Sis. I'm Stephanie Rivers, and I'm here with my co-host Phyllis Petit. Welcome to the show. How you doing, Phyllis?
Doing good, doing good.
So, have
How
you
are
had
you?
a good week? All is well. All is well.
Yeah, it's a short week. It can't go too much wrong. But tomorrow's already Thursday, so I'm good.
You know what? I forgot it was the holiday weekend because we've had so many events going
Oh
on.
my
I
gosh, we
forgot.
have been something busy. I
Yeah,
like that. I like when we stay busy.
definitely. We had we did have a show live out of the Shot Expo that we had, our tribe's Shot Expo in Frisco. So that was a great opportunity for people to learn more about us and
Mhm.
to for us to have some varying guests. So
Indeed,
that was good. And
you
I
got a chance to put a lot of names with faces.
faces with names,
Yes, and
definitely one of
learning a lot.
and we took classes and got a chance to learn some new skills and gain some knowledge, so that's always good, and to commune with each other.
Which was your favorite class?
My favorite class, I took three classes, and I would say the one where we learned about building your bug out bag was one of the better classes because it allowed you to see what needs to be in your bug out bag, and that you
Mhm.
need multiple bags for
Mhm.
various things, to get you, if maybe you're not at home with your main stuff. You
Mhm.
might be away from home, and what's going to get you from there to the house and things like that. So that
Yeah.
was my favorite. What was
He
yours?
had a lot of items out. And I'm like, this is a lot. And you have to carry all that. Even a standard bug out bag is about 30 pounds. And you need to keep it under that, if you're going to be walking any distance, right? So I
Right.
was overwhelmed when I came in and saw it. I was like, my gosh. But remind me at the end of the show, I have something to tell you about a bug out bag challenge that's coming
Okay.
up in later this month.
Okay.
And this is a perfect time, being that everyone just took the bug out bag class. So remind me to tell you about it when at the bottom of the show. But
Okay.
I like the road rage class.
Road rage. Okay.
Yes, de-escalation, because it made everybody in there humble themselves, and it allowed everyone to be checked by their comrades and say, you need to check your attitude. And you may not have known that you had an attitude until the scenarios were played out, and you had to just sit on your hands and take it and humble yourself and walk away for de-escalate for the good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
to put action or behavior with de-escalation, that word, because
Hmm.
I change. I normally hang out in the left lane, and if somebody just comes up on me, I'm like, look, you got to go around. But now I'm like, you know what? This is not, you don't own this lane. Go on and get
Right.
over. And you might be 2 or 3 minutes late or than you would have been had you stayed. But so like you said, just
Hmm.
to avoid unnecessary an issue. So
Exactly.
that's what I liked. And
Yeah.
I also like the fact that I got a chance to meet some of our viewers and listeners who said, you know what? Oh, you're Stephanie, and I watch your podcast, and I'm happy to
Right.
meet you. And so that was great for me. In fact, Our guest today was one of those people that I met, and we're glad that she was able to come on today. So Amber Johnson is she's a mom and nurse, and she also hey, she is new to the
You're
2A
echoing.
community. Yeah, there's an echo, Amber. So if you watching on YouTube or no, turn your the screen was correct, but I'm getting feedback. I don't know where that feedback is coming from. 'Cause
Is Amber on with us, or is she YouTube?
she should. Oh no, she should be on with us. I sent her the link.
Okay.
So
Turn your volume down, Amber.
Oh, that may be good. Is that better?
Yes.
yes, that's better. And we have Cornelius Meeks saying, "Hey, ladies," he's in the chat. So thanks for stopping by, Cornelius. He's been on
You still
a
echoing,
guest on the
Stephanie.
show as well.
You still echoing really bad. Turn your volume down. Are you using a mic today?
Oh, you know what? It probably.
If you got YouTube, if you have YouTube open, you can't have you can't have them both open. Say something, Stephanie. I'm echoing too.
And it started when we opened her up. I'm gonna take you out for a second, Amber, and let's see if
Okay.
that's gonna make a difference. So
Okay.
that is making a difference. Something is going on with her audio. So Amber, why don't you try to go out and then sign back in to the show, and we'll see if that clears it up. And so we're gonna wait for you to. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and so she's gonna sign back in. In the meantime, while we're waiting for her, I know that you also went to Mississippi for Juneteenth weekend,
Yes.
and that was a great experience. Of course, I had planned to be there, but my travel plans didn't come through. So tell us a little bit about what happened with your experience going to what part of
It was in Natchez, Mississippi. We were in Jackson, Mississippi, and Natchez, Mississippi, and it was a very emotional experience. And my daughter went, and another one of the ladies that's in our tribe, and her daughter. And so we kind of made it like, a summer trip for the kids, and get to experience, what it feels like to be a part of something that is honoring your ancestors, and just seeing it live and not just reading about it, right? And the land is, it's hard to describe, but it's like you're standing on a mountain and you're looking down into um, a really deep, deep, deep canyon, I could say, but it's full of, and it looks like grass, but it's really the tops of trees. And the trees there are massive, right? So you don't know how far down it really is. There's no roping it off, no fence, no gate, there's nothing. If you take one step too far, you're in there and you're not coming out. And they have these beautiful peach trees, but of course, no one eats the trees, or the peaches or any of the fruit, because they know that it is fertilized with the blood of the ancestors. And sometimes when it rains, they say the bones float up. And there was a gentleman sitting there under a tree right there with a bench, and he's telling all the kids the stories of things that went on back then. There was even still a shack that was hanging on by a thread. Like if you just walked over there, it would fall in. And I can see why they left it, because if you tried to remove it, all of that ground would break away. There's no barrier, but then there's still a house. So it was very emotional. It was powerful. It was hot, but
so
we endured the heat.
was the estate, was it a building that's off to itself, so
No.
can, or was it like, because I want to go, even though I wasn't able to go during Juneteenth weekend. I really would like to see for myself and
Mhm.
experience that.
It's near the
So
it's near a cemetery. And so it's at the end of a dead end road that ends in a cemetery. And
mm,
there's houses around it. And there is a marker that looks like a statue that was, handmade. I didn't
uh-huh,
see the engravings on it, but I couldn't even really make out what the image was of this statue. But that's what it's there for. And now this is in Natchez, and so Natchez is very small. And so when we did the um, the march through Natchez, when I tell you it was this fast, and people came out of their homes everywhere. They were supportive, and the police were supportive. They escorted us, and so it was a really nice event. And then afterwards, everyone gathered, under some shade tree, and there were some speeches, and of course, Brother Babu Amawali decided to retire. So he says this was his last hoorah, but we don't believe it yet. We'll see. We'll see. But it was an amazing time, and my daughter loved it, and she told her friends about it. And one of her classmates, who is Caucasian, and she said, "Well, I want to go with you guys next year." And I said,
okay.
"Well, okay, but I don't I don't know if her parents would be okay with it, but
That's exactly what I was thinking. Did she,
you know, uh,
she need to clear that with her parents first.
well, her parents are, they seem to be pretty cool people. Her mother named her after Ella Fitzgerald, so I don't know how
Okay.
she want to learn. I'll teach her. She'll be going home with a fist in the air, fooling around a little bit.
So we got somebody else in the chat, Ro Brumfeld, who's the
Hey, family.
yeah. So, and fresh from him and his wife went to where? Cabo, I think, after the Our Tribe
Mhm.
Expo.
He
So
needed it. He deserved that. That was a well-deserved vacation.
definitely,
After
definitely,
after our Super Bowl, what we call it, the Super Bowl.
exactly. So we've got Amber back. So let's see if we can add Amber to the
Hey,
conversation.
hey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
Yes.
that better?
much.
Yes. We
Yeah,
good
definitely
now. We
much
hot
better.
now.
So
There we go.
we wanted to be able to hear you, and without any interference. So welcome to
Definitely.
the show, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you essentially you have been watching our podcast, and you have followed us, but and we were able to meet you, like
Hmm.
Phyllis said, at the expo, Our Tribe Expo in Frisco. So
Hmm.
was your first time? This is the second annual event, but it was your first time being there.
It was the first time that I heard of it and that I was there.
Well, awesome. So what made you want to get involved and be a part of it?
You know what? I am a novice to owning a firearm, to everything with firearms. And my goal when I started out is just I want to be educated. I want to be knowledgeable about my firearm, about how to use it, about the laws. And so when I got into carrying a firearm, that was one of my main goals. I don't do anything halfway. So if I get into it, I jump into it all the way. And that was my thing. I want to make sure I know everything. I want to make sure that I surround myself with knowledgeable people, and I take every opportunity I can to take a class, to learn, to train, for the last year now. So when I saw
Awesome.
that and I looked online and I saw the pictures and stuff from last year, I thought, oh yeah. And I saw the classes. I was like, oh yeah. And it was so many classes I wanted to take, and I couldn't sign up for all the ones I wanted to take because some of them was at the same time.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly. We're going to work on that better for next year. I'm like, we're going to have doubles or something, because I'm like, some of them overlapping and I can't do them both at the same
Oh
right.
time.
yeah.
Then I couldn't be at my booth, and I couldn't pie. I was like, I need another me.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So you jumped in because we were in the gun cleaning class together. You had
Mm-hmm.
about 3 weapons. So you went from
Come
0 a
on
year
now.
ago to 3. That's
I got
awesome.
4 actually.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So,
And I'm looking to add to that too.
I know that's right.
right. So which class was your favorite? Which one do you think you got the most benefit from being in?
I got benefit from all of them, but I think probably it was probably the bug out bag. I didn't know what a bug out bag was. I thought, what in the world is a bug out bag?
Hmm.
But I saw that the class was being taught by someone I know that's very, very knowledgeable and a plethora of information. So I thought, you know what? I'm sure this is going to be good. And it was. It was what I think it was. Why I think it was probably more beneficial is because it made you think about things that you never thought of or situations that you could be in. And if you have this bag handy, you never know, that could be the one, the tools you need between to survive whatever situation you're in.
It
So
definitely be your first.
I was watching a show just earlier today, and a lady was attacked in her office by a coworker,
Mm.
and he killed her. And I thought, man, if she had that bug out bag that he talked about, the little one in her desk to get from the desk to the car, I was like, man, she could have fought her way out of that.
Mm.
And it just made me think about, just different things to have to survive in different situations.
Correct.
Indeed.
Correct.
Indeed.
Hmm.
And in this climate, as what the term that always starts the conversation, we have to think about every aspect of that too. Getting from your
Hmm.
desk to your car to your house to a safe place, whether it be a fire station, police station, whatever that is. And
Hmm.
all of our trainers and in our tribe and beyond are always talking about the bug out bag.
Hmm.
And I think I've had about 4 classes on bug out bags, and they each get more and more extensive. You know,
Wow.
they do. But I
Well, I
know,
can only imagine because
yes,
that's some
he
good
had a
stuff.
lot of stuff. He had a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I was like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
God, he had a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now you're a mother of a teenager?
Mhm. No, ma'am. I have a toddler. He'll be 3 at the end of the month.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to get him on up so he can learn how to hold something when he get a little older.
Yes, ma'am. And that is one of the reasons that guys why I want the knowledge and the skills, because I want to pass the correct information on to him. And I
Okay.
want to pass the right information on to him, because everybody that in my family, that my friends, they think I went crazy with my firearms and my classes and the train, that when I
Hmm.
tell them about range days, and they're like, what are you preparing for? What's wrong with you? And it's like, no, it's about being knowledgeable and being aware
And
of
being prepared. Cause see, when
exactly.
something happens, they don't want to come to your house.
Exactly. That's what I tell them. That's what I tell them. Yeah, I
When
tell
it's
them, depending on resources, y'all might not can get in. So,
See what I'm saying? And see when it's time to ride out, they're gonna be saying, Amber, can you come get me? Can you come back here and get
no.
me? Everybody gonna want you to come get them, you know? Can we come over or can they
Exactly.
come to your house with all the supplies? You
Yes,
know what I'm
ma'am.
saying? Indeed,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely understand. And see,
Mm-hmm.
so how do you I mean, being that he's a toddler, I'm assuming that you definitely use extra precaution with your safety measures, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I had to adjust to that as once he turned, a year old, I mean, 2 years old, it was like, okay, I have to, once he started getting into stuff, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, he's reaching for stuff, he's grabbing into stuff. So I have to be more mindful where I have it.
Yes.
When now
Even
now he can go into my purse, but before he couldn't,
hmm
you know.
Mhm. Or even
So
when you sleep and kids walk up to the side of your bed while you sleep, and they be so
Mhm.
quiet you won't even hear them.
Oh
And they'll
yeah.
go right in that drawer, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to
Oh
think
yeah.
about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
well, I know that's one of the things that that I heard Amber talking or asking the other parents and other people in the class was, at what point is that him?
Yeah, but he know how to open doors now real good. So he
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. At what
Yeah.
point, should she uh, introduce her son to firearms, as just so he'll understand what it is. And so, with you having a daughter who's a teenager, Phyllis, how did you navigate that,
that's what
introducing
I'm
her to
curious to know.
firearms?
Um, I started talking about it with her years ago before I got really active in it because her father had a firearm and he was very careless with it.
Mm.
And twice she picked it up as a toddler
Mm.
and pointed it dead at my chest.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yes.
scary.
Scary was not the word. Matter of fact, he had it under the cushion of this chair that I'm sitting in. And it was floating, right? The cushion was floating. So of course she walked over and picked it up. And in my mind, why would you put it there? And he
Yeah.
was so careless with it, you know. And I told him either it goes or you go or y'all can both go. Matters not to me. And from that point on, I think she was about your son's age. She was little.
Mm.
She was little.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
so
yeah.
from that point on, I started teaching her don't ever touch it. If you see it, don't touch it. Don't, it'll hurt you, all of that. And then as she grew older, she would hear me talking about classes and she asked if she could go.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe like 3 years ago. And then so I never got her involved until last year at the expo. Some of the guys at the expo took her back into the range and let her, fire off some shots. She didn't blink. She went in there
Ooh.
and she tore it up. She had a ball. And
Yeah.
yes, and they were like, "You gonna have trouble on your hands." I was like, "No, I got his backup. That's what I got." And so, since she's around it, she goes to the range with me, whether we're indoors or out, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so she's very comfortable being around it. She understands the danger. If I go to the store or something, she knows where I leave it. She knows what to do with it. She knows, if you fire a shot out this door or that door, one shot, because that can go into someone else's house. But if they come through this door, keep going, unload, Because if they get
Mm-hmm.
through, this or that or whatever, we talk about
Oh
all of it.
yeah.
We talk about
Mm-hmm.
all of it. Um, Now she's not she knows not to play with it. She knows not to talk about it and discuss it with her friends, or any of that. Now, one of her good friends, her mother is a police officer. And so she didn't know that I carried until I went to pick my daughter up one day and I got out of my truck to put her bag in. And she goes, "You carry?" And I was like, "Yes." And I mean, she's like 5'2", and she's a police officer, very, very tiny lady. And she was like, "I love you." She said, "I thought I loved you before, but now," she said, "I really, really wish that my husband would be more open to me taking the girls to the range."
So even as a police officer, her husband doesn't want their kids to
No, he
really.
does not. No. And
Wow.
I have met quite a few men that are completely uncomfortable being around firearms, and that's your preference, that's fine. But when something breaks loose, you know, you can't throw these at them, you know.
Yeah, that
Um,
ain't gonna work against a bullet.
not not anymore. No, that and nobody no who fights anymore. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Who fights? People do things in very cowardly way. And I'm too old to wrestle with anybody. So when you come to me, you better come in love because I'm not having it. So she's been at every competition I've been in. She's attended. She goes when we go to have practice days, all of that. She helps out, and she absolutely loves it. She was at the expo on it.
Ah.
Yeah, because she always works the table, until it gets to be too many people at the table trying to buy stuff, and she gets frazzled. She's like, "Oh, this is stressful."
You know, did y'all read about how somebody threw some water at somebody at a McDonald's? I think it was in Chicago, and someone shot her
Oh my God.
because it was a. I'm not sure if it was an employee at McDonald's, or I think she was an employee, and somebody was coming up to the drive-through window acting, crazy or whatever, screaming through the window, and she threw water at them, and they shot her. So you're
Oh.
you're right. It's like nobody thinks about, nobody wants to, like, if you do have an altercation, they go straight to
The most
deadly force.
extreme. Yes, they go to the
Mhm.
most extreme means of retaliation. You know,
Mhm.
you ain't like, you ain't gonna do that to me. That's the last thing you gonna do. I don't care. You can call me
Mm.
whatever name you want to call me. Honey, you can hop in front of me. I will gladly move. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby. Here you go.
Yeah.
You can have it. When I was young, I remember being at a red light and a man blew his horn at another man because the light
Mm.
turned green and he didn't go. And we got to the next light. That man pulled up beside him and shot him in the head.
Mm.
No, you saw this.
Yes, my mother, who
Oh,
did not even drive, because my mother ever never, and I think that's what stung her because she never wanted to learn how to drive, and
wow.
she was trying to cover our eyes or whatever, but it was too late. To this day, I do not blow my horn at anybody. You can
Mm.
damn near be sitting on top of my car, and I'm not blowing my horn, you know.
Wow.
But when I tell you, it's like it is so unnecessary. People take
Mhm.
things to the extreme, and they're so quick to reach for a weapon, you know,
Mhm.
not realizing you have to account for every bullet, every caliber that leaves that gun.
Well, I oftentimes wonder because I've been seeing it a lot, especially since I've been paying attention to a lot of people that I knew before I got into firearms that do carry firearms. I wonder if people are so quick to react with them because they have a lack of knowledge or understanding of exactly how the laws work or how, because what I have learned, I mean, the things that I have learned about if you discharge your weapon, about, what to say, what not to do,
Mm-hmm.
the things to say. And it's like, I wonder if that is because they don't know, they don't have an
That's it.
understanding of what you can get in trouble with. You can't just shoot somebody and say, "Oh, I felt like my life was in danger." They're gonna take into account everything that led up to that. And if that
Exactly.
person didn't have a weapon, or if that person, I mean, there are things that go into account. And I think that this is stuff that I have learned since taking my LTC, since
Mm-hmm.
taking classes like at the SHOT Expo. So
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's just a lack of, people don't get educated.
They
People
don't.
get
They'd rather
firearms and
be
they don't
ignorant.
train or nothing. They don't train. They don't know
Mm-mm.
the laws surrounding it. They don't know anything. They just get them.
How many videos have we seen with people walking around with pistols in their pocket and somebody else run up and snatch it out their pocket? Then they run in the hope the person don't shoot them. You
Oh
idiot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
You
Yes.
know, when
Yeah.
I see those videos, I'm like, I just saw one yesterday where a guy jumped out of a car with a long gun. They been ran up on these dudes. The dude took the gun from him and whooped him, and then got the money out of his pocket. He took his money, took his gun and his money out of his pocket. Do
Oh
you
my
hear
God.
me? If it
Oh
hadn't been for the
wow.
neighbors, they told the dude, just let him go, man. Just let him go. When I tell you
Mm.
he stunned him, you drove up to this man's house, jumped out, and ran up on him with a gun that you didn't use. He
You know,
Mm.
slapped him and took it and then just whooped him.
it's as
Mm.
if, and it's as if they don't have a plan. It's, just to
They have a
show the
false
gun.
sense
Hopefully you
of
won't resist.
mhm.
Hopefully you'll just go along. And that's why we need to stop being soft targets and allowing people to treat, to run up on us. You got to be ready. And that I want to ask you guys. They were concerning the shooter at the July 4th parade in Highland Park, outside of Chicago. They were talking about the things that led up to the person, the shooter, getting the weapons. That there's a red flag law in that state that should have kept the shooter from getting the weapons because of I guess social media posts and everything. I'm going to try to pull that up. It's only a 2-minute long um, an interview. Let me see who's in the interview. It's a CNN interview, and they were talking to Andrew McCabe, who's former head of the FBI. And just so we can just talk about that. And my main reason for bringing that up is, what do you guys, since you have children and they want to go out and do things, they want to go to parades, to Disney World, to the movies, and to the park, like how has active shooters, the uptick of active shooters, how has that changed how you want to spend time with your children, family time, or do you no longer spend that time? So let me see if I can bring this up. It says share my screen. I'm going to go here and let's listen.
Suicide attempt, threatening to kill his family. September, police confiscate knives from the home. Then in 2020, Mr. Crimo buys 4 weapons, and in 2021 he buys a Glock after his 21st birthday. Obviously, you have to study the Illinois law. You have to read the language of it. But from what you see here, is this a failure in policing, a failure in writing the law with enough specificity, a failure in parenting, all of the above?
Boy, my considered judgment would be potentially all of the above. So under the Illinois law, after that engagement at the house in September where they seized all of his knives, from my reading of the law, it seems that the police could have gone to a judge and pursued a firearms restraining order. That's what Illinois calls it, for the purpose of not seizing weapons, because according to them and everyone else, he didn't have any guns at that time. But the restraining order would have prevented him from purchasing any guns for whatever period the judge decided to put on that. So there's maybe a drop ball there. Now think about the father. The father first went to police and recovered the knives, had the knives returned to him on the same day that they were seized. So for the father now to say that he wasn't aware of the details of that incident in September 2019, that doesn't really ring true to me. And then the father turns around and signs the affidavit necessary for Crimo to get the firearms identification card. That is inexplicable to me, but it is a good example of how red flag laws like this it's a great opportunity for those people who know about them and who are inclined to do the right thing and call out a family member or friend as being in trouble, but they cannot be relied on to stop every single instance, right? This is basically shifting responsibility to the public to decide who should or shouldn't be in possession of firearms. And so having done that, we have to understand that the decisions around that are going to apply pretty inconsistently. Here we have a father who, for whatever reason, decided his son, who had every knife seized from him a few months earlier, was perfectly fine to go ahead and purchase weapons. A questionable decision at best.
So that's what I'm showing you this under the Copyright Act of 1976, which says that we can show you, an interview or discuss things for the purpose of critiquing and discussing it. And so, they've got laws in place that are supposed to stop. Hold on. I guess it's still, let me put that off. We've got things in place that are supposed to be, stopping people who have an issue with obtaining a firearm. And then you got parents, who you hope would have enough sense, more than the child, to stop anything from happening, or at least not allowing them to have the access. But that's not happening. So what are you guys doing as parents to try to come up with a plan for your family and your household to try to avoid being a, a part of an active shooting scenario? If something happens, what is your plan? Or do you just not go out anymore? Y'all stay indoors?
Well, we
what's
definitely
going
don't
on?
go as much as we used to, but I definitely, if there are activities to be done, I prefer she be with me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if she's with her friends, I know there's no protection. I know nobody's looking out for mine like I would. So when
Mm-hmm.
I go, she goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I went to Mississippi, she went with me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's been a couple of occasions she wanted to go to the mall with her friends, and so I only let her go to malls that are outdoor. The storefront type where all the stores are on the outside, not an enclosed mall. No, we're not doing that. And then I usually can find an area to sit at, while they go from store to store or whatever. But leaving her um with her friends, that's unnerving to me. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We go
That's
to we go to
understandable.
yes, Roe Brumfield says, go to our tribe sponsored events, everybody's packing. Because she's
Yes,
asked,
ma'am.
we've gone to events with our tribe, and she'll say, what is I said, now they would be a fool to walk in here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when I go places, we go out to eat as a group, everybody's packing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we go to the park. We can't have it at the park on us, but it ain't far. It's in the car. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I stay amongst my group, I stay amongst my tribe. You know, leaving her with her friends, no,
I
I'm not.
think that's what has done more to me. It's just made me be more aware because I mean it's preparing because you never know. You can't control anybody else. You never know when you go out who's having a bad day, who's feeling like
Mhm.
they need to let off some steam and express themselves in whatever way they thinking. So my thing
Mhm.
is if these red flag laws, listening to that, that's talking about legally though, right? So what
Mhm.
is to go prevent these, like you said, the parents from going behind and buying weapons, or friends buying weapons for these people that they've had these restraining orders for weapons on? I mean, there's ways that it still
Mhm.
can happen. So in my mind,
It's going
and
to continue to happen.
it's going to happen. So in my mind, I don't let fear stop me from doing anything, y'all. I'm a
I
little
have to
stubborn
protect
like that.
myself.
And
Right. I'm not going to
so
live in fear. I'm
I'm
not going
not
to
going. I'm
hole
not
up
going to
in the
stop
house.
doing family stuff or not stop going somewhere because I'm scared that someone may do something. But I will prepare. I will make
Mhm.
sure that I am more aware of my surroundings. I will make sure, be mindful of different things that I could
Mhm.
use as a weapon to get back to my weapon if I
Exactly.
can't legally carry it. It's just being mindful because at the end of the day, when you look at these situations, like I tell people when they ask me what you're preparing for, it's like I'm not preparing for anything and I'm not going looking for nothing. But
Right.
you never know. And if God forbid, I'm in a situation, I go to the grocery store or I go somewhere, go to the
Mhm.
movies, and somebody decide they want to come in, it just boils down to, do I want to be helpless in that situation or do I want to have the
Exactly.
knowledge and skills to survive it? So
Exactly.
that's where my mind is, and I want to survive it. So that's where my mind goes to. Okay, what do I need to do in case this happens? It's just a different my perspective and the way I look at
Mhm.
things.
You're more situationally aware. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't go places and I'm out and about on my phone while I'm walking. Whatever I'm doing on that phone, I'm done with it by the time I exit that car. I put
Mm-hmm.
it away. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting myself in environments that I know could quite possibly be hostile, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and has a lot to do with the demographics and age, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I stay away from all that. I stay away from all that extra. If they playing the music too loud, I can't stay here because see, it just feels like something about to pop off, you know. Now y'all laughing. Y'all know I'm not lying. Pull up to the
But
gas
don't let it be no trap music, Miss Phyllis.
station. I listen to trap right here in my car and in my house.
Yes,
Honey,
ma'am.
when they go to bopping, I get gone. I gotta go. Come on, we gotta go. Bye.
Right.
Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
because I walk outside like around a park. And so every few yards or so, I look behind me, to make sure ain't nobody trying to walk up on me. When the person passes me going in a different direction, I
I make
look
sure
and
they
make
keep
sure they
going.
Yeah.
still walking. And so, you just, I can see why Black people in America have one of the highest rates of hypertension and strokes and all of this, because we've been dealing with stuff for
A
hundreds of
long
years. And
time.
now to add on top of that, all of the recent things.
Yes.
So it's like you always got to be playing chess. Always
Yes.
got to be 3-5 steps ahead of what's actually going on right now. And
Mhm.
so, that's just life. And I guess, once you're in it, you don't really think about it. But some people seem so carefree, don't they?
They seem so
Mhm.
crazy foolish to me. And I'm steady saying, my roommate laughs because when I come home, I pull into the garage, I let it down. I don't sit with the garage up and all that dilly dallying around. I get to the business. I
Mhm.
close tight, close up, and we don't get out of the car until it is shut, you know, and I'm just because anybody or anything could come from the side of the garage. It's dark out there, and that light, that motion light's only going to stay on for so long, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And I don't ever want to not have the upper hand on my own territory,
For sure.
you know. And that's what I teach my daughter. I was like, it's time to get out of the car. Stop all that extra. You see, we on the street to go home. Get your things, gather your things together,
Mhm.
so that when it's time to get out of the car and get in the house,
Oh, yeah.
we getting out all that, waiting around and you know, girl, if you don't, I'm gonna leave you in here. Leave you in here in the dark. You better come out. And it's not that I'm paranoid, but it's just the reality of the world.
It's just being
People
prepared.
are
Yeah.
waiting, people are laying and waiting for you to slip up, and you never know who's watching you. As my mother used to say, it's always somebody watching, you
For
know.
sure.
It's always somebody watching. 9 times out of 10, the person that broke in your house was the person that was right across the street watching you leave. I'm serious. I ain't never had my house and anything stolen from me from a stranger. It's always somebody I knew.
You
Yeah.
know, one time I lived in a cul-de-sac, and my car was somebody tried to steal my car, and I'm like, that can't be nobody but the construction workers that's been down here or a neighbor, because nobody comes down here to know that I had a car down here. And so yeah, most of the time
Mhm.
it's somebody that or
They
that's
be
familiar
watching
with
your
you.
pattern and just
Mhm.
everything about it.
Exactly.
Everything about it.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about at the expo. Was it week before last?
Hmm.
Okay, because I'm
Mhm.
like, Lord have mercy. It seemed like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't. We have been busy.
Okay, Rose said somebody stole something from him and helped him look for it.
Oh, see, now that's cold.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cold.
Oh, yeah.
That is cold.
I don't know
Mhm.
how that worked, how he knew that they stole it, but
Cause
maybe.
he probably saw. They probably had the nerve to put it where if it was something to wear, they wore it. They used it dead in front of him. Forgot he was the person they stole it from. Because people
Mhm.
have something from they stole from you for years and then be in front of you with it and forgot that you the one
Oh,
they
yeah.
stole it from. They steal so damn much. They don't
Oh,
forgot who they stole it from.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I had someone break into my house. I was in my early 20s, broke into my house, and then next days he was calling, oh, what they steal, what they got. And they put everything they got in one of my big bags. And we were talking, he's like, what they got in? I tell him what they got. He said, and what they put it in the Bugs Bunny bag. And I'm thinking, Now, how you know they put it in
How
my
you
Bugs
know
Bunny
it was the
bag?
Bugs Bunny
Out
bag?
of all the bags they could have picked, how you know the Bugs Bunny bag?
Right.
So
If you
that's
don't
how
give
he
me my
told on his
stuff.
stuff.
We had our Bible stolen from. We used to have one, back in the day they had them big white Bibles on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, I don't know who just a neighbor or whatever, she stole that Bible off of our coffee table, and it was huge. How she got out of the house with that Bible, I do
I was
not
just
know.
going to ask you that.
And my mother was like, I swear, she'll remove the bra without disturbing the blouse. She got out of here with my Bible, and my mother went and knocked on the door, and there it sat on their table.
Wow.
What did she say? What did she say about
Well,
how that happened?
I just wanted to read it. I asked you, could I read my mother? You a damn lie. You didn't ask me nothing about reading the Bible. My Bible. Get your own Bible. Because of course I'm standing in the door looking. You know what I'm saying? My mom said she had the nerve to have my Bible sitting on her table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sitting on her coffee table as decor.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But I'm telling
Well,
you better be prepared because you never know what's gonna happen. That's all I'm saying. And I just don't want to be a sitting duck. Not me.
Exactly.
I don't want to give anyone the opportunity to get the upper hand on me if I can help it, and I think I can help it. As long as I've got it in me to help it, I'm going to help it. And I did not ever think of until the Shot Expo, having a bag for the car or at work to get me to the car I just had, of course, the one big one. So that was definitely something that I evolved on. Now, of course, my one big one had all the different sections, for the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom, you know what I'm saying? But I never had one like, okay, I got one in the car, I got one in my office because I work from home now. But what if I were to go back to the office? I've never thought about it, in detail, like in that way, until I'm looking at, one of those movies, where it's the end of the world and I can come up in my head with everything they should have had.
Well, Miss Phyllis, I had never thought about getting if you're at work, getting from the office to the car. I had never thought about that, but because I always tell people at work, I work in a hospital, and I work at night, I keep my key in my pocket. I don't keep it in my bag. I keep my car key on me, and I tell everybody because if some stuff pop off, I'm getting to my car. I might leave this bag, I might leave everything else, but I'm getting to my car. But I never thought what if you need some help? What if you need something to make sure you safely get to your car?
Exactly.
So that's what that put me in the mindset.
It was like the perfect situation to end to a world war, whatever, because today I'm sitting here working, and I guess they were testing the sirens, and y'all should have seen my head. It was on a pivot, and I had a client on the phone, and I was steady looking, and they were like, "What are you looking at?" I said, "Yeah, y'all hear that?" And I'm in Texas and they're in Arizona. And they was like, yeah, we hear it. But what is it? I said, well, they're testing the sirens. They're like, well, is there something happening? I said, I'll let y'all know in a minute. I said, hold on. I literally went and got my bug out bag, pulled it out from under the table where it was sitting just to prep myself. Because that's just how on edge I am sometimes, Because every day you turn on the TV, there's something more and more extreme,
Exactly.
And lo and behold, I just let my daughter go to Hurricane Harbor with her best friend and her family. And she gets to hang out with them because her parents care. So she gets to hang out with them all the time. So my daughter, all her friends, their parents, carry, and they believe in Carrie.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm like, awesome. You got to make friends of friends of friends because we're gonna stay within the environment in which we feel, more safe and secure. I'm not hanging out with a bunch of people that's standing around all aloof, and when something breaks out, they standing around screaming and getting shot. Don't even have to get on the ground.
That. Exactly.
As a matter of fact, we also met at the what is it, ETTS gun range Saturday. Amber was there, I was there, and we were going through scenarios with our weapons. And so that's another reason I like to be involved, is because it's not just about, classes. You do actual preparation and
Real life
scenarios.
scenarios.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And getting on, I've never practiced shooting prone lying down, so we did
Oh.
that Saturday.
Mhm.
Thanks to Dwayne Gibson. He was leading the class, and our shooting class Saturday. And so, and that's a whole different thing. If you got
The
a
range
shoulder
day.
problem, or if you
Yeah.
got knee problems or something, how nimble, is that the word? How
Yes.
nimble are you with maneuvering? Because like we already know, people are not just going to stand there. Most people are not going to stand there and let you shoot them.
Exactly.
If
And you would
they're,
want to get somewhere with some cover if someone's shooting you and you have to shoot back.
right. So you got to be
Yeah.
able to move.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That muscle memory and adrenaline will kick in. Honey, this old knee can go to cracking and popping, but I wouldn't know it till afterwards because I am getting somewhere. Do you hear me?
Oh, yeah. But that's because too you have trained and you know what to do. You're not caught
Exactly.
off guard with something. Because I think
That's why I have
AJ
to be
said
more
too that
precise.
Saturday. Yes, ma'am.
I have to be more precise because I'm not as nimble as I used to be. So I got to make it count.
Yes, ma'am. AJ mentioned too on Saturday at Range Day about shooting on your back. And it was like, and he mentioned, if you get knocked down in a situation, it's like, yeah, that's why I love going to ETTS and doing range days, because it gets you thinking about things that you don't think about. Yeah, what if I do fall down? Will I be able to get to my weapon? Will I be able to fire?
Yes,
I'm always thinking about it in the range, getting your stance and getting the sights lined up. And when you're in a real life situation, you ain't gonna have all them seconds to get like that.
You ain't gonna have none of that setup time. It's go time.
Exactly.
It is go time. I always say that the outdoor range is my favorite because there's so much more flexibility, and it gives you an opportunity to actually put into action real life scenarios without it being too extreme and it always being safe. And I don't always feel as protected from other people of what they may or may not do because of what they may or may not know. In an indoor range, the proximity is so close and so tight. And of course, it's just too hot to be outside, but I love the outdoor range. I do.
Oh, yeah. Miss Phyllis, I go out there like I'm camping. I take my cooler, I take me a little seed, my little umbrella. I shoot, I get hot, then I drink me some water, cool off, and go back to shooting again.
Because you can stay as long as you want to. And I've even seen people out there barbecuing.
Really? Don't tell me that.
I'm serious.
I'm about to pull out Lil Joe next.
Now, they be out there barbecuing, right? And I was like, they are seriously barbecuing. I was like, somebody asked me, hey, barbecue. I said, he got a whole grill out there, Yes, eventually we're going to have our own range and we can do just that. We're going to have family day. We're going to have family reunion range days. All of our children will be taught from a very young age because it's not getting any better out here. And I just want to say, the young man that was shot the other day by the police, 60 rounds fired into that baby's body. I don't know what he was doing, but nothing constitutes being shot at 90 times and being riddled with 60 bullets.
Yeah, that's one of the goals. Ro is still in the chat. He said one of the goals for our tribe is to eventually have our own range. So lots of ideas, lots of plans, and putting them into motion, and with the training as well. And so if someone wants to find out more, wants to join us, because our whole goal for having this podcast is to just to show people who look like us, especially women, that that this is something that you can do, and you can increase or expand your defensive plan. You can
You can
include
still live your regular, regular
firearms.
life. Yes, you
Exactly.
can still. And I want to say before we go today that coming up July the 17th, that the Huey P. Newton Gun Club is going to hold a bug out bag cook-off. And what that means is whomever can come out and prepare a meal from the contents within their bug out bag.
Wow.
And follow us. I'm going to post the information on Second Amendment Sis, and I'm also going to post it in our tribe. So, Mr. Gibson, you'll get an opportunity to see how many of your students were really listening. I'm going to come out there and cook a whole pot roast with potatoes and carrots. So,
stuff from
whatever's
meals.
in your bug out bag, you have to prepare a meal.
Okay.
From the contents. And that means your cookware to the food, to what you eat with, what you drink, all of that. So Huey P. Newton's Gun Club is challenging all of us to see what we really learned, and if we can put it into action.
That sounds like something
July the 17th is going to be over at Glendale Park,
July
over
17th.
here off of Ledbetter, which is also known as Loop 12. But I will post the information after the show, and I want to see everybody out there. I'm going to have a tent, and we're going to see if we can get some fans out there so we can be cool. And I come with a meal now, because I love a challenge. Like you say, Amber, I don't have to do nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
This is going to be exciting.
And that's on Sunday, the 17th of July. So that's in about 2 weeks. So
so go get your provisions.
Exactly. Don't get it. Yeah. Of course, Dwayne says that's an outstanding concept. So in fact, we want you to be in that contest, Dwayne, since you're the one the bags, the bug out bags.
Yeah.
Mr. Gibson, Mr. Brumfield, I want y'all in this, because see, y'all want 2 of the 3 that are always talking to me about a bug out bag. And I want to see a whole meal. I want meat, potatoes, vegetables, a dessert,
a salad.
Yeah. An appetizer. I want to see.
Oh, you want 3 courses?
Yeah. Like we at Paris, girl.
Yes, ma'am.
Come up with some freeze-dried chicken or something. I want to see.
So, Amber, we're thankful that you decided to stop by and join us today.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me. I love good talking, good conversation.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, ma'am.
We're and probably at this cook-off, this bug out bag cook-off, we're gonna cast from there as well. Now I'm gonna participate, because I ain't gonna let y'all outdo me.
You know what? I have to see, since it's, my July schedule is already set, and so I have to see if I can be there. But of course, if I am available, I will certainly be there. Because that's the only thing that keeps me from being more participating more is my work schedule. But I will try to be there, and we're certainly going to try to get others there as well. So if anybody wants to know any more about how you can join our tribe has a YouTube page. A Facebook page, and if you want to know more about the events going on in around the country, but especially in our area, DFW area, then you can go to Second Amendment Sis Facebook page, and to learn more about our range days and other events that we have. So Amber, we're going to let you go. We want to thank you for coming by, and we're going to look forward to seeing you at the next event that we have.
Yes, ma'am. I will definitely be there.
All
You
right.
ladies have a good
Everybody
night.
go
Y'all
get
have a good night.
Get your freeze dried meals. Dwayne showed y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Stay safe.
All righty, ma'am. So you stay safe as well.
You
And
too.
thank you for everyone who showed up to chat with us. And we will see
Appreciate
you
y'all, family.
next time on Second Amendment Sis.